Hi guys, today we're going to be speaking about modernism, mainly dealing with Faulkner and O'Connor.
Modernism originated in the late 19th and early 20th century. Modernism was rejected by tradition. It interested people in doing old things in new ways. Also, there was a belief that science and technology could change the world for better. The roles of women were also changing during this time period. Women began to do the things that men typically did. You need to know about American Gothic because modernism is derived from the American Gothic. Gothic refers to the use of medieval, wild, or mysterious elements in literature. It has gloomy settings and horrifying events. Edgar Allan Poe was one of the most famous American Gothic writers. William Faulkner, born September 25th, 1897, and he died July 6, 1962. Facts about Faulkner: he was raised in a small town in the South. He didn't finish high school and only did 1 year of college at the University of Mississippi. He was also a soldier in the war. He wanted to fight in the World War I, but the war was over by the time he finished training. He published his first novel with the help of Sherwood Anderson. He was not widely recognized in the United States, but in Europe he was highly praised by some of the most famous writers as Satir. He wrote many novels. He wrote 19 novels and 3 short stories. His novels, most of his books were about the American South. They included multiple points of view, and it also dealt with racial tensions in the South after the Civil War. All of his writings take place in Yoknapatawpha County. Some of his most famous novels include The Sound of Fury, Light in August, Absalom, Absalom, Go Down Moses, The Hamlet, The Town, The Mansion, and the book that we're going to read in class, A Rose for Emily. Most of his books were Southern Gothic. Faulkner refined this genre. It was a literary movement that built on the traditions of the larger Gothic genres, typically including supernatural elements, mental disease, and the grotesque. Grotesque is a very ugly or comically distorted figure, creature, or image, just so you should know. It often deals with the situation of those who are ostracized or oppressed by traditional Southern culture, especially back in those days, African Americans and women. Faulkner's subjects and themes: typically, his themes were a stream of consciousness, used foreshadowing, symbolism, ambiguity, and allegory. Other themes included love, pity, honor, and self-sacrifice. Faulkner thought the fall of the South was due to the ill treatment of Indians and African Americans. He believed the only way to change the meaningless modern life is by recovering the traditional and eternal values.
Flannery O'Connor. She was born March 25th, 1925, and she died August 3rd, 1964. Some facts about Flannery O'Connor. She was born Mary Flannery O'Connor originally, but she was a Georgia native, and she was also born in Savannah, Georgia. When she was 25, she was diagnosed with lupus. Her father also died of lupus. Flannery graduated from Peabody Laboratory School in 1942, from Georgia State College for Women in 1945. Later, she attended the University of Iowa's journalism program. She applied to Iowa's Writers' Workshop, but she was almost rejected because the admissions reviewer couldn't understand her Southern accent. Her first published short story was Geranium in 1946. Some characteristics of O'Connor's work include that her stories had an abundance of murderers, deformed, the disabled, freaks, outcasts, and insane creatures. She mainly fixated on the abnormal because she said, "To the hard of hearing you shout, and for the almost blind you draw large and startling figures." She was a strict Catholic, and lots of religious imagery often appeared in her stories. She was influenced by Gothic literature. Other characteristics in her novels include a Southern lens, comic tragic vision, strong characterization, shocking plot, and a lot of humor. Some of her works are A Good Man is Hard to Find, The Life You Save May Be Your Own, Wise Blood, and Geranium. There are different types of irony, but as you should know, irony is a figure of speech in which words are used in a way that their intended meaning is different from their actual meaning. The first type of irony that you should know is verbal irony. Verbal irony is the use of words to mean something different from what a person actually says. Dramatic irony is when the audience is aware of something that the characters in the story are unaware of. Situational irony is when the exact opposite of what is meant to happen happens. Thanks, you guys, for listening to us, and we hope that our presentation has taught you something about modernism.